looking at your graphs, I'm going to look at first number 23 here. They're giving you a graph f, and they're asking which one of the following could be the derivative of f. So the way you want to look at this is that first your graph is sloping upwards. You should have a positive slope. Right here you have a slope of 0, and then you start having a negative slope. That means that your derivative, your y values, should begin positive, hit 0, and then end up negative. Now I'm also going to notice here at the end, you're almost flattening back out. You're almost back to a 0 slope at the end again. So you start with a positive value here in A, go to a negative, here's your 0 right around that same spot, and then come back close to 0. So A is going to be your answer. The other thing you can kind of look at, this has almost kind of a feel of a graph that's going to have 1, 2, 3 bumps, so it's almost like an x to the 4th, so that means its derivative should be something that is x cubed. In the previous problem, it's going backwards, so you have to be careful how it's worded. They're giving you the derivative of f, so you're almost finding essentially an antiderivative. This is a negative x squared graph, so that means that the original function should be something negative x cubed. So you should have a cubic for sure, which means you can take out a and b as answers for sure. So what this is saying, if the derivative here is negative in these two parts, that means that your original function should have been decreasing at those areas and then increasing during the middle portion. Well, between C, D, and E, the only one that increases in the middle between -2 and 2 is going to be letter E. Okay, so make sure of that. If it had said the other way around, if this was F originally and they wanted the derivative, you would have been going increasing, then decreasing, positive, negative. That would have given you B as an answer. So make sure you check that answer key. That answer key is incorrect. Okay? Looking at the next thing, they gave you this graph here. All they want you to do is to estimate values of a derivative. Derivative meaning slope. So at x equals -2, literally all you want to try to do is draw a line tangent at that point and see what the slope is, approximately. And there's no way to tell for sure, but you can kind of count a little bit of a rise over run if you extend that line. It looks like you're going up good 4 or 5 before you go over 1. So I would say this slope is about 4 or 5. At x equals -1, well, that's right where you have the maximum. So you have a flat line slope. That's a slope of 0. At x equals 0, you're going downhill, but not nearly as badly. I would estimate, it's definitely, what you got to look at is it's a negative slope. If I extend that, it looks like it might be pretty close to a -2 maybe. Again, these are approximate. I'm looking more positive, negative, and whether it's a big positive or a big negative. And the last one, at x equals 3, you're going up pretty quickly, about the exact same as what your one was in part A. So that slope, I'm going to say, is also a +4, +5, something along those lines. Next section is just matching. So these are the original functions on the left. These are the derivatives on the right. So again, you can kind of use your shortcuts to help you. For example, this is a graph that is just a negative slope. Looks like a -1x. Its derivative should be -1. Well, the only graph that has a slope of -1 is letter I. Letter I. So this one is I, number 1. Okay, graph number, or letter B, I should say, we just kind of did on the last problem. It's like a -x squared. Its derivative should be a -2x. And well, here's the graph of -2x. So this guy becomes number 2. I would look at letter C here as being, again, a quartic type of idea because it has 1, 2, 3 bumps. So its derivative should be something that's cubic, which is this guy right here. This has a cubic field. So this is letter V. Okay, the other way I can look at that, you started increasing, then decreasing, then increasing, then decreasing again. So you start with a positive y value, then negative here, then positive again, then negative. You could say the same thing with letter B here. You started with an increasing, so you were a positive y value first, then went decreasing, so now you have a negative y value for the derivative. Letter E I like a lot because no matter where you are always decreasing. You're always going downhill. You're decreasing a lot more at the beginning than you are at the end. So you should have something that has a very negative y value first and then gets closer and closer to a flat line of 0. So this is why letter E goes with part number 3 there. Okay, and the only one that's left is a has to be 4. Let's see why that makes sense. You're always increasing. Then you have this kind of vertical asymptote, so you can't have a derivative there. And then you're back to increasing again. So you should have something that's always a positive value. This is the only one that is always a positive derivative value in this graph. So that's why that has to be going with graph A. And final one. These are the fun ones dealing with the chart, but they're really pretty straightforward and simple. In this chart, so first, f of negative 2. Here's f of negative 2. You just read it off. It's just 1. That's easy. Number 2, h of 5 is 6 minus f of 8 is 2. So 6 minus 2 is your answer of 4. Number 3, you have a composite function, an inside and an outside. So the inside tells you h of 1. Well, h of 1 here is 8. That's what the inside becomes, but we still need to evaluate it at the outside function of f. Well, f of 8 is 2, just by reading off the chart. Now we get a couple with derivatives, so just make sure you're looking at the right guy. F of 1 is negative 3. F prime of 1, so we're looking at this third row, f prime of 1 is 4. And they want you to add those together so you have an answer of 1. 4h prime of 8 plus 2. Well, 4 times h prime of 8. Here's h prime, the 8 column, so it's right here, so it's 4 times negative 2. And then you're going to add 2 to that. So 4 times negative 2 is negative 6. Or negative 8, sorry, plus 2 gives you negative 6. Okay, now these next ones deal with these functions right here. P of x and q of x. P for product, q for quotient. So that means you're going to have to do a product rule. So for p prime, well first, 6 is just asking for p. So p of 5 means you're doing f of 5 times h of 5. You need to do each one individually. F of 5 is 4. H of 5 in this third column is 6, so you get an answer of 24. In number 7, so we're using product rule. So if it's f times h, product rule is 1 d2 plus 2 d1. So when you evaluate at 5, f of 5 we said was 4. H prime of 5, h prime in the 5 column is 1. Plus, now h of 5 we said was 6 times f prime of 5, which was 0. So that part just becomes 0, and you should get an answer of 4. Now, q of 1 means you're just plugging in. So q of 1 would be f of 1 over h of 1. F of 1 we've done a couple times, negative 3. H of 1 is 8, so negative 3 over 8, nothing I can do to simplify. As for the quotient rule here, so you're going to do low d high minus high d low all over low squared. And now you just got to plug that in. So h of, in this case, negative 2. H of negative 2 is 7. F prime of negative 2 is 2. Minus high. So f of negative 2 is 1. And d low, h prime of negative 2 is negative 2. All over low squared, not h prime like I just did there by accident. H of negative 2 is 7, so it shouldn't be negative 2 squared, it should just be h squared, 7 squared. Okay, and you'll simplify that. You get 14 minus negative 2, so that's 16 on top, and 49 on the bottom, and that's it. There's another quotient rule for number 10, h prime of 5, so we're still using this low d high minus high d low. Change color so we don't mix them up. So h of 5 is the third column, that's 6. F prime of 5 is 0. That's nice, that's going to cancel out. Minus high f of 5, which is 4, times d low, h prime of 5 is 1, all over low squared. So h of 5 is 6. We want 6 squared. So you get negative 4 over 6 squared, which is 36, so negative 1 over 9. And then the last one, p of 1, so back to product rule. So 1 d2 plus 2 d1. When you plug in at 1, f of 1 is negative 3. H prime of 1 is positive 3. Product means plus. H of, what are we doing it? H of 1, which is 8. And then f prime of 1, which is 4. So you get negative 9 plus 32. So you should get an answer of 23 for that last guy. There you have it. Best of luck.